the west coast of the United States, stretching from San Diego and Los Angeles to San Francisco and Sacramento in California, and Portland and Seattle in the Pacific Northwest, is densely populated with over 50 million Americans. However, there is a significant empty area in the middle that remains largely uninhabited, which raises the question, why aren't more people living in this empty stretch of the West Coast? Hello and welcome back to Luxury Explore. Today, we're exploring a part of the West Coast in the United States that's surprisingly sparsely populated. It's odd because to the south, there's a large population in California, home to over 40 million people, and to the north, there are big cities like Portland and Seattle. Yet, the area in between these bustling places has very few residents. As is often the case, there's a geographic explanation for this. When people think of the West Coast, they usually imagine the tech-centered areas of the Bay Area and Seattle, the iconic beaches and Hollywood of Southern California, or the unique, bike-friendly Portland, Oregon. However, there's a stunning area sandwiched between these regions that covers the northern part of California and the southern part of Oregon, known as the State of Jefferson. Let's delve into the geography of this area. In the less populated southern West Coast, California's coast is famous for its dramatic landscapes, featuring cliffs, sandy beaches, and extensive marine life, along with dense forests like Tahoe, Trinity, and Six River National Forests, among others. These forests are filled with some of the planet's tallest and oldest trees. Emerging from these forests are the southern tips of the Cascade Range and the northern reaches of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Here you'll find Mount Shasta, a towering peak reaching 14,179 feet high, which is closely monitored by the U.S. Geological Survey for its high volcanic eruption risk. Moving further north, we encounter Southern Oregon, often overlooked compared to its northern counterpart. It's an area with a sparse population, yet abundant geographical features. The Oregon coastline blends sandy beaches, towering sea stacks, and cliffs. Inland, the Rogue Valley boasts fertile land known for agriculture, including a thriving wine industry, thanks to its warmer and drier climate compared to the state's northern regions, creating a distinctive ecosystem within Oregon. One of Southern Oregon's most notable landmarks is Crater Lake, situated in the Cascade Mountains. It holds the title of the deepest lake in the United States and the second deepest in North America, formed by the collapse of Mount Mazama almost 7,700 years ago. Finally, the eastern boundary of the empty West is delineated by the Great Basin, a high desert terrain housing diverse plant and animal species. These landscapes stand in stark contrast to the coastal and forested areas of southern Oregon and northern California, sharing more similarities with Nevada. The empty West is undeniably remarkable, but its unique geography poses challenges for establishing large population centers. We'll delve into the historical and modern-day reasons for this phenomenon. In the early 1800s, the United States was mainly on the eastern side of North America. However, after acquiring a Louisiana Purchase in 1803, which added a vast 828,000 square miles to the nation, expansion westward became certain. This acquisition spurred explorers such as Lewis and Clark to explore these new territories and evaluate their potential. The discovery of fertile lands and promising opportunities prompted a wave of pioneers to journey westward. Particularly, settlers were attracted to Willamette Valley in modern-day Oregon via the Oregon Trail, a wagon route spanning over 2,000 miles from Missouri to Oregon. The Missoula floods, occurring thousands of years ago, contributed to the area's fertility by depositing sediment and enriching the soil with each occurrence. The presence of the Columbia River alongside the Willamette Valley facilitated agricultural growth and global trade. Between 1841 and 1869, it's estimated that over 400,000 settlers, miners, farmers, and ranchers utilized the Oregon Trail to reach the Western Territories. The California Gold Rush in 1848 marked the next major move toward the West, attracting around 300,000 people to Northern California and significantly changing the state's population makeup. San Francisco grew from a tiny settlement with about 200 people in 1846 to a bustling city of around 36,000 by 1852. To support this migration and make the journey safer, the Transcontinental Railroad was built between 1863 and 1869, connecting the East Coast Rail Network to the Pacific Coast in San Francisco and starting a new phase of Western expansion. Additionally, the Homestead Act of 1862 motivated people to move west by offering them 160 acres of public land for almost nothing, with the condition they had to build a home and farm the land. This resulted in 270 million acres of land being claimed by 1934, mostly in the western states. This movement of people west continued into the 1900s, with events like the Dust Bowl of the 1930s pushing farming families from the Midwest to the Southwest. Despite the Oregon Trail and Columbia River attracting settlers to Oregon's north and the gold rush drawing many to Central California, the vast area in between saw little growth as it lacked major attractions, leading to slower development there compared to its northern and southern counterparts. Today, the empty West is among the least populated parts of the United States, largely due to its geography. Most places where people live start because they have good land for farming and are good for setting up shipping and trade. However, this area makes those things very difficult. Apart from Sacramento Valley in Northern California, the region is mostly mountains. With the Sierra Nevada and Cascade mountain ranges, there's not much flat land for building big cities, and the few flat areas that exist, like the Rogue Valley in southern Oregon, are too small for big transportation projects like large ports. For example, the Rogue River is much smaller than the Columbia River, which connects Portland, Oregon to the Pacific Ocean. This complex geography makes it hard to develop infrastructure such as highways, railroads, and ports. Even the coastal areas in Northern California and Oregon are too rugged and rocky for large ports like those in Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Because of the area's unique geography and lack of infrastructure, Eugene, Oregon is the largest city in the empty West, with about 380,000 people in its metro area, located at the far southern end of the Willamette Valley, making it about 1/7 the size of the Portland metro area. Following Eugene are Medford, Oregon, with 223,000 people, and Chico, California, with 211,000 people. The only other medium-sized cities in the region are Bend, Oregon, with 99,000 people, and Redding, California, with 94,000 people. Notably, Bend has been among the top 10 fastest-growing cities in the US over the past decade. This lack of development and geographical differences have led some people to propose creating a new state entirely, known to some as the proposed 51st State of Jefferson. The idea originated in the early 1940s when residents from parts of Northern California and Southern Oregon felt overlooked by their state governments and disconnected from their urban counterparts. They suggested naming the potential state Jefferson in honor of Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, who valued rural independence and agrarian democracy. The area even went as far as to declare its own governor and create a flag with two X's symbolizing their double cross by the state capitals in Salem, Oregon and Sacramento, California. The initiative paused due to World War II, but never completely vanished. Lately, there's been renewed interest in forming the state of Jefferson, with supporters arguing that their rural communities are not properly represented by state governments, causing issues with land use, taxes, and managing natural resources. Currently, the state of Jefferson is more an idea than a reality. Making a new state is difficult, needing approval from the state legislatures and the US Congress, and it's not clear if the whole region supports this move. Not everyone is enthusiastic about creating a new state. Nevertheless, the aspiration for the state of Jefferson persists. The largely uninhabited West remains so due to its distinct geography, and although it's technically part of California and Oregon, it has its own identity that attracts many Americans. It's precisely this geography and sparse population that many find appealing. And that concludes our journey through America's empty West. I hope you enjoyed learning about it. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to keep posted for more interesting videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.